What is up, jobins? Welcome to another episode of What the X. This is WTX episode 19. One more episode to episode 20. Appreciate all you jobins that have been tuning in. It's been a crazy, crazy year with election going on. The debate just happened. You know, probably just wondering, hey, didn't you just release WTX episode 18? I did just the other day, but, you know, we got no time to slow down. The debate happened. We got some news to talk about, some reactions. And let's just get started with a tweet from AB, who's Antonio Brown, the football player at AB84, and he said this. He said, "Sum up the debate," and it's a funny image of Trump, his face posted over a wrestler who's flexing in the background, and then you got Kamala Harris as her face posted on a wrestler who's jumping, diving, you could say, to tag in his teammate or Kamala's teammate, and the teammate being tagged in is labeled ABC moderators. So Antonio Brown just kind of sharing his disdain for how the whole debate was set up. It did seem pretty biased towards Kamala Harris with the amount of fact-checking that they did on Trump, while she was able to get away with a few lies herself. Again, just because they were biased doesn't mean it wasn't good to have the debate, to be able to see both sides there. And I don't think it really changed either party, their main people that they're going after. I don't know how the undecided voter takes that debate, but it was a funny little commentary from AB. So I follow AB now on Twitter. Always nice, or X, I should say. Always nice to see some famous people who are pretty out there and vocal on X. AB, I would recommend following him. Pretty funny guy. Pretty unhinged. Says a lot of things that are pretty crazy. But shout out AB. Tweet number 2 by another unhinged individual who makes AB look, pretty tame in comparison. And that's Andrew Tate at Cobra Tate. Shout out Andrew Tate. He has this to say: "The funny thing about these debates is how pointless they are. Absolutely nobody's mind has changed. Frogs and bimbos want Kamala, go queen, and men wish Trump would just tell her to F off, back to giving B jobs, pointless." And then I censored a few words, so hopefully it helps with the YouTube algorithm. I feel like I get shadow banned and no one's able to see these videos compared to like the Filipino cooking videos. Shout out to everyone who watches Cooking with Brendan also, my other videos that I do on the channel. So I do appreciate that, guys. And I kind of agree with Andrew Tate on the sense of, it didn't change anyone's mind. Both politicians, kind of how you see it in every debate, just kind of dodging questions and not giving answers, a lot of ad hominem, a lot of attacks on the other opponent. Yes, that is Trump's staple. He does attack his opponent pretty often. At one point, calling Kamala's father a Marxist professor of economics. He also said she was, like the worst vice president, and talking about the administration on Biden's administration and their inability to get things done. And Kamala also had her own things to say to Trump, calling him a disgrace to his face, and just a lot of attacking on both sides. Shout out to Kamala for walking up to him and giving him a handshake. Obviously, none of it was genuine from either side. Obviously, both sides do not care for each other. That's no secret. But hopefully the independent voter maybe has more of an idea of who they want to vote for. I don't think you can really pull too much from the debate. Just the atmosphere of ABC, who, has to shout out Disney, Hulu, ESPN, because it's all money. So there's a clear agenda being driven. But so just do your own independent research, and hopefully you can come up to a conclusion, even though there's so much misinformation. And the moderators themselves are fact-checking Donald Trump by saying, well, the the FBI, citing the FBI as if the FBI themselves don't have hearings where they have to answer for the things that they've done. And you wonder whose pocket the FBI is in, as well as the Department of Justice, as well as that the city councilor of Colorado, I believe, with the cats and dogs thing. The cats and dogs thing was crazy. I don't think Trump should have went in with that, because they were quickly there to say, hey, there's no claims that this has been proven. There's no evidence of this, even though there may be social media posts and interviews with residents in that area who do say that their pets have gone missing and things like that. That's not enough evidence to say that that's happening for sure. Even though, who knows? There has been a huge, the border and the illegal immigration, all that stuff is a hot topic, a hot button issue. So maybe cats and dogs are being taken, but that hasn't yet to be verified. So Trump did take a L for, bringing up the cats and dogs thing. That's a soundbite. They're going to use that over and over again. It was one thing that he said that didn't look very great, and they're gonna run with that because they don't have any substance behind anything else. And let's just move on, because I think we all are in agreement that the debate's not very effective. Tim Walz, her running mate, Kamala Harris's running mate, he had this to say at Tim_Walz: "We've got some of the best student leaders in the country fighting in our corner. Thank you, Sun Devils. Now let's go beat Donald Trump." And it's a picture, it's a selfie with Tim in the front, and then you got all these ASU students with Tim, Harris Walz, let's go Harris, all pro-Democrat signage. And it's funny to me because Donald Trump even brought this up, because he's, Kamala's got all these plans about making housing more affordable, about making groceries more affordable, but it's the same old song. And I'm not saying that Republicans have done any better. I'm not saying, I think the whole political system's been a shit show for far too long. Just like how they approached Trump and they said, "What's your plans to replace Obamacare?" And he said he had a concept of a plan. So even on that side, they haven't really been able to get anything done as far as like a better system for healthcare for all. And it's funny to me because when she's talking about all these promises she's going to make the middle class, because we're the ones she's going after, to try to get the vote. He said, well, what about student loans? Remember that student loan forgiveness plan that you had, that promise to make sure that all of our debt was forgiven? How'd that go? It's just really funny that Tim Walz is at a college too, and he's just shouting out all the students who are just in their own little world, their own little bubble, and don't know what the real world is yet like, and they're in their little safe space. It's sad because in college campuses across the country, there's a safe space circle. Wasn't there a time when the whole campus was considered a safe space? Now you have designated safe spaces, and who brought those along? It's the left leaning. You know what I'm saying? The whole thing should have been a safe zone. There shouldn't be people attacking people for having different views, and it seems more like that's on the left. Just how I brought this up on the last What the X with Bill Maher, who I closed with, in saying that there's a new type of liberal, and they're calling people bullies, but they're really the ones doing the bullying. And I got off a little off topic there, but it had to go back to the student loans, because the promise of student loan forgiveness is an abysmal failure, in my opinion, by the Biden administration, even the Clinton administration before that. And then, you got freaking Bernie Sanders in the mix too, and Kamala was pretty left, and now she's changed a lot. She's flip-flopped a lot to try to get a more centrist strategy. But the average college tuition, Jobins, if you didn't know, with fees, has increased by 1,200% since 1980. While inflation since that time's up 236%. So inflation's gone up, more than double since 1980. But oh my God, how crazy! 1,200% for college. It's gone up 1,200% since college, or I said, college prices since 1980. That's crazy. So Harris and Walls, are you guys going to do anything about that, or are you just going to move on to the next topic that's at everyone's hand, which is home owning? Which once you get voted in, none of that shit's going to happen, guys. Don't be swayed by these lofty promises that are unbelievably ridiculous. Trump, on the other hand, said that the Ukraine conflict would be done before he even was actually president, before he was in office, and is still president-elect, before inauguration. That's a deadline. He actually gave a time frame for when he would get something completed. Now, if he doesn't get something completed, yeah, is he in the same position as the Harris-Walz administration, where they're not going to get any of that shit done? Yeah, they would fall in the same boat, but at least he gave us a timetable, and a relatively short one at that. Before even being inaugurated, he said he was going to get those things done during the debate. Again, whether or not he would be able to follow through with his promises is another thing entirely. But I would love to hear Kamala Harris's time frame on when she's going to get these lofty promises completed and actually be representing the constituents like she's supposed to be doing, like both parties are supposed to be doing. Again, you should vote for whoever you believe in your heart to vote for. I think that's what's amazing about this country. We got to put integrity back into the election process itself, and people need to get that confidence back. So we're going to move on with another tweet here. And the rest of these tweets really are in response to Taylor Swift, because as soon as that debate was over, her Democratic National Convention handlers at the DNC, the Democratic Party, they must have been messaging like, hey, it's time to release the ammunition for the Democratic Party. Taylor, you're our number one draft pick, and we need you to endorse Kamala after that debate, because we're worried that some of the people might be flip-flopping to the right. So if you could, Taylor Swift, please endorse Donald Trump exactly immediately after the debate. Totally not a coincidence. That was timed and planned, and a very strategic move from the Democratic Party. So good job on recruiting Taylor Swift, because, I do like my Swift music. I am a self-proclaimed Swiftie. Jobins, I'm sorry if that disappoints any of you, but I do get down to some Taylor Swift. Dave Portnoy of Barstool Sports, the at Stool Presidente, had this to say: as the king of the Swifties, debatable, people are asking me what I think of her Kamala endorsement. I don't care at all. People can vote for whoever they want in this country. How somebody votes will never change my opinion of a person. I'm voting the other way, but to each their own. I like Dave Portnoy's response. I think that's how we should all respond to whoever you're voting for. Respect whatever anyone else is doing. The one thing I would counter with, though, that I don't think Dave is taking into consideration as much as I am, is just how much influence even Dave has, and even Taylor Swift, especially with 200 million plus followers. That's a lot of influence. So that comes with that's currency, influence, reputation. And for her to just say who she's voting for, that could, move people to one side. I don't think you should ever vote for someone just because a celebrity endorsed them, but that is still a strategy that's being used by the political parties. I mean, you got Kid Rock on the Republican side. Both sides are going to recruit famous people, but it's so crazy how the left has co-opted so many entertainers and people that I grew up loving. Like I had to go in on Drew Carey. That was another What the X episode with Drew Carey being super liberal. Stephen King was a shocking one, but once you're on X for long enough, you can see that Stephen King is just one of those puppets also. But it's like, I don't care who you're voting for, but I care that you're even telling us who you're voting for, because that just shows that you are so strong about what you're saying that you do hope it affects people, because how that'd be a lie if you said you didn't want people to vote for who you're voting for. That would be a lie, because that's who you want to see in office. So when celebrities endorse politicians like this, and they shouldn't, like Ricky Gervais said, just shut up and do your job of entertaining. That's how it should be. I for one, that's why I try to myself be unbiased. I have said that I'm voting for Trump, and before that it was Robert Kennedy, And since Robert Kennedy's now endorsing Trump, that's kind of where I'm leaning. But I don't want my vote to ever influence any of you, Jobins. But obviously I'm polling for a certain candidate. So if I was to post on Instagram who I'm voting for, which I haven't done, or go on X and say who I'm voting for, which again I haven't done, that's a message I'm sending. I'm telling you who to vote for in a way. So yeah, I mean Dave's right. We shouldn't be hating on Taylor Swift, and maybe he's the king of the Swifties. I would try to challenge him for that title. I do listen to a lot of Taylor Swift still. So that's what it is. Nick Offerman, too, Comics for Kamala. He had a song, I'm proud to be a Kamala man. I can't believe I even recited that and sang that back to you guys, but that's kind of the chorus of it. I'm proud to be an American, but he says I'm a Kamala man. It's very cringe-inducing, and Nick Offerman, I think, is clearly co-opted by the left as well. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt had a very cringe video, too, about how he doesn't deserve $70,000, and he almost looks like he's about to cry in the video because I guess someone told him to start acting. But to move on, Elon Musk, which this is Elon Musk's response, which, again, I do not condone, and I actually condemn this response. Elon Musk at Elon Musk, fine, Taylor, you win. I will give you a child and guard your cats with my life. A little extreme, Elon. I don't think you should be saying too much either. You're too much of an influential figure, a world mover. It is scary to think about sometimes with Elon's control of X and, well, not just his, but obviously ABC's owned, Disney's control. So many hands in pockets, so much money moving around that it's like, who do you trust? What do you believe? But I don't think that was a very well thought out response. It just makes Elon look creepy, in my opinion. And Alejandra Carabello, who's our next tweet here, because it's in response to the Elon Musk tweet at ESqueer_. I can't get over this. This is a rape threat. Elon already has a documented history of sexual harassment and getting his employees to have his children as part of his eugenics-coded breeding fetish. This isn't just gross and disgusting behavior, it's sociopathic and monstrous. And what's funny to me is if Alejandra had said that about, someone on the opposite side of Elon, they would be looking like Alex Jones. That's a conspiracy theory to say that he has a eugenics-coded breeding fetish. Does that mean the conspiracy theory has been proven to be wrong? No. Who knows? Maybe he really is a deranged sociopath like that. I did read a really interesting book about how psychopathic minds work, and a lot of CEOs share psychopathic tendencies in historical cases. It was done by this, I got to get the name of the doctor. I will bring this up. The Wisdom of Psychopaths. A great book, a great read, Jobins. I definitely recommend it. But Alejandra Carabello, I do think that she's pulling a little bit because it's not saying, maybe it is a rape threat because he does said, I will give you a child, but that could be like adoption, foster. That doesn't mean he's going to be the one impregnating her himself. But is Elon the kind of guy that might be what he meant? Most definitely. I definitely think if you're in a position like Elon Musk, you're not afraid to get your hands dirty, or bloody, I should say. Just like if you're in a position to run for president like Donald Trump, Kamala Harris, any other politician you want to name, you got skin in the game, and there's got to be blood on your hands. So, interesting take. Again, I think Elon Musk should have just avoided commenting on it at all. Hopefully we don't all vote because a celebrity told us who to vote for. But it does make you just go, damn, I like that person. Now it's like, ugh. Try to separate it. Everybody, love everybody. And I will work on that myself too. Everyone has a right to their political opinions as long as they're being informed and at least keeping an open mind, because we shut ourselves off from the other side and we need to do our best to try to hear their solutions. And we're going to end with Xavier DeRusso at Xaviered. I don't care what the biased ABC commentators say. I am black. I am Gen Z. And I unapologetically support Trump because he unapologetically supports people like me. And Xavier, hats off to you on, saying your truth there. Again, don't just vote for who he's voting for because he's influenced you because of you seeing his post, just like how we shouldn't just vote for what celebrities say. But I feel like he did his research and he did what he had to do to come up to his own decision, just like I'm sure all of us are. Everybody love everybody. Let's not jump at each other's throats for who we're voting for. Just like I hate when the left says you're not really black if you're voting Republican and not Democrat. That's one of the most racist things I've ever heard in my life. Lil Pump got a whole lot of hate for it too, and Xavier, I'm sure he's gotten a lot of hate in the comments on X too for his take. But you should be allowed to vote for whoever you want, regardless of the color of your skin. That shouldn't confine him to having to vote for a liberal. Otherwise, he's seen as a Uncle Tom, as they would like to say. How racist is that? That if you don't vote for the party that's supposed to support your people, our people, we're Americans first and foremost. I want a party that represents America, not that's trying to give fake promises to minority demographics. Myself being involved in a minority demographic, I'm biracial myself. I got that Filipino half in me too, So it's like you should be able to vote for whoever you want, regardless of race. And I feel like a lot of black Republicans, especially, feel that pressure and feel like they get mocked for having the beliefs that they have, and that's not cool. So just vote for whoever you want, and if you're black and you're voting left, also that's cool too. Vote for everybody, love everybody. Don't judge him and don't belittle him and say he's not black then if he doesn't vote Democrat, because that's not cool and that's racist, and that totally misses the point of having this be an open and fair election. Like, everybody love everybody and stop with the judgment. Vote for who you're going to vote for. Celebrities, try not to be endorsing so much because it just comes off as you're just moving an agenda that's being pushed. You're being bought by someone. There's big money involved here, and it's just disingenuous. And we as the American people are not idiots. And I didn't like how Kamala was talking on the debate because it almost seems like she was trying to placate and get me emotional. It's like, hey, we're Americans, and there's emotional things tied to this with these policies and everything, but it's like, don't just play on my emotions and think that I don't care about your policies now because you've gotten me with your almost tears and your celebrity endorsements. Be real with America and have a better, less biased sitting down. Like Lex Friedman, for example. He's openly said, I would love to have a podcast with Kamala Harris, Tim Walz. He's had people on the right on before, and he's been trying to be very neutral. And there's a lot of other people like-minded that would also give them an open space too, and wouldn't favor one or the other as much as ABC does. And for that matter, Fox too. It's not like Fox wouldn't just try to go after the Democrats if they were on their debate platform. I'm just saying mainstream media is dead, and it's up to the YouTubers and the podcasters that are really doing the real work that we should be giving these politicians over to. I'd love to see Kamala Harris on a 2-hour Nelk Boy podcast, a full send podcast. Do it. You know what I'm saying? Or at least do the Lex Friedman one, because he seems more, or less biased, I should say. So I want to see some changes, and I think that the political debates are just a circus, and we didn't really get any answers there. So it wasn't very productive, and it didn't help the undecided voter at all. But it was newsworthy, so we had to talk about it. This has, again, been another episode of What the X, WTX episode 19. Thank you so much, Jobins, for sticking with us here. And have a great weekend. It is freaking fight week. Let's go Suga Sean O'Malley. He's going to win in the Sphere. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be legendary. I love you, Jobins. Take care. What the X?